Okay, so this is the Schwinn Kids bike. It is a pinkish color usually for girls. My daughter really liked it. So you want her to start learning the slightly bigger bike. You also want to make sure that her existing bikes, her legs are not easily reached. So she is not stretching her legs. So you want her to height to increase. So we decided to switch to this one. I'm going to open it, unbox it, set the whole thing up and show you the whole steps. And then I'm going to let my daughter, ride around in this thing. Let me open this and show it to you. Everything, and these are all the parts that you can see from the box. And this is the basket. These are the tassels that are going to be on the side. So I'm going to assemble this whole bike completely, step by step. You should be able to follow it, and you should be able to just and you should be able to make it yourself just by following the instructions. So let me remove all of these clips and everything next. Let me unpack everything and keep everything separate and show it to you. Okay, so I essentially removed all the parts and separated it. You can see this is essentially the handle and the basket and this front protections. I'm going to keep it on the side. These are the wheels. These are the side tires. I'm going to also keep this on the side for now. I'm going to first assemble the bike. And these are the pedals and the seat. So we're going to set this whole thing up. First we will potentially connect the wheel, the pedals and the seat, and then we will go for the side wheels and the basket. So the first part is actually very tricky, and I was not able to find this in any instruction. But it's very important. It might not be immediately obvious to you. So you need a wrench like this. Right. And what you want is, if you notice this here, this rod is coming up top. But it is supposed to be at the bottom. And then you can once again use the wrench like this. But it should be actually downwards. To tighten it. Essentially what you want to do is, if you are holding it like this, you want to use this and loosen this. And tight, yeah, loosen this is a little bit not straight. So you might want to just let me loosen it. Yep, you might want to just make sure that it's straight before you tighten it. Yeah, now it is looking a lot more straight. And essentially just want to you can adjust it by loosening it and tightening it to make sure that this can essentially just become loose and have the handlebar here be rotated. And if you notice, this is how it is rotated. And now, because it is rotated, it can go in any direction, right? And what I am doing is now, you can see how this part is ready. As I lift it up, it falls above. So what happened is, it was like this. I have turned this bike upside down. I have made it like you just need to pull this up. Now, to remove it, you just need to pull it up. Notice how I pulled this up on the side and from here also. So now that it is, before it was facing like this, ready, so then you can essentially put the tire. Now it is facing like this, right? So we are now ready for putting the tire. So once again use the wrench to tighten. You can notice how this thing here, don't have anything from this tire, you want to essentially remove this. So tighten it a little bit. Then we will essentially do more tightening later. Yep, you can see how I'm just going to pull this out. Yeah. And now it is a little bit tighter. All of this black thing that are covering, you have to make sure that it is completely removed in the center area before you're tightening. Right. And now the tire is essential, and also this part here. Okay. Okay. So now let me try to remove this also. Next, now if you notice here, it is something like this, right? Now the brakes are here like this. You might need to rotate the brake a little bit, but it's essentially braking like this. Next, you want to remove this screw, right? I notice this black cover. You need to essentially remove it. You can remove it. You just have to apply a little bit of force here. Or if you're not having trouble, you can just rotate it counterclockwise. So pull and rotate at the same time. And now if you notice, this thing essentially just comes out like this. So now we are ready just to tighten and loosen this thing here. So make sure you remove this cover, and this is not needed. So we are going to keep this. Now this thing is ready. Then we just remove, okay, for tightening it. Next, I am going to lift the bike here so you can see it. Okay. And now one thing to note, right? If I am putting this bike in the front here, there is a sticker which says here. Tire. Notice this brake, right? Here. It is facing backwards. So that means this is in the opposite direction. That is, this is not correct. So you want to first just rotate this thing. Now notice this brakes. These are the brakes and they are facing
looks
like they are in the front.
Are like
now it is close because the rear is pointing to the rear.
Put the tire
side,
You might want to loosen
might
it a
need
bit.
to loosen this brakes a little bit.
To help with this. Okay, so I have to loosen this a bit more, right? But once I did it, now if you notice here, this thing just goes inside.
Put the handlebar to make sure that this thing is facing correctly. Right, and now we are going to tighten it. Now we are going to tighten it. Okay, now we are going to tighten it. And now if you notice, this thing moves with this. Obviously it's not tight enough, but once I tighten it, then it will become tight, and then it will essentially make sure that this thing is fit correctly. Okay, let me loosen it because this is not straight. Yep, make sure this is aligned properly. So you can notice how I'm essentially making sure that this is straight and this thing is also straight and it is pressed in, and now I'm tightening it. You need to do some alignment here. But hopefully once you have aligned it correctly, then it just becomes easier. Now you can see it is moving in the direction correctly. Right? Next, we are going to flip this whole bike around. Okay, next to put the tires inside, right? But in my case, these brakes, they are very close and I want to put the tire inside. But because these brakes are too close, how I cannot put the tire in? So first I need to loosen the brakes. And to do that, you need to loosen this nut here. You notice this nut here? This one? Let me show it to you. This is how the whole thing just came out, right? Next, all you have to do is now place this tire here, like this, right? Now these tires essentially have direction. What do I mean by that? If you notice, this thing says here the rotation. Notice this rotation here, which means the tire is supposed to rotate like this. So what I essentially have to do is, once I place this here, right, I need to double check. So the rotation is on the other side. Yeah, rotation here. Now imagine the bike is moving, right? It essentially move like this, right? So I'm essentially putting it in the opposite direction of rotation, so it is incorrect. So I'm just going to rotate it. Okay, now imagine the bike is riding and the kids are riding the bike. The rotation will be in this direction, and yes, notice this is how the bike will go. So this essentially helps make sure that during rainy season the water in the grooves, it goes out in the correct way so that the bike is not slippery. So this essentially just helps make sure that. So imagine if you're riding the bike, the rotation should be correct. So check the rotation arrow here. So if you look here, you'll be see on this side. On this side here, on this side. So on this side, this is the arrow here. And notice when my daughter will be riding the bike, it will be going like this. So it is matching the direction of rotation. Put this screw from here. We are going to put this back here. Let me show it to you from this direction. So this thing is in here, and I'm putting this in here. This same I'm going to do on the other side as well. This thing is in here and I'm going to put this in here. Okay. A wrench would also work. If you have a wrench like this, that should also serve the purpose. So here, you can see I'm tightening it. Same here. Okay, now it is done. But if you notice the bike, these brakes are not close enough. They need to be aligned close enough So that when your kid, like something like this, right? So that when your kid breaks, it comes close. So if you remember, we had loosened this. We are now going to tighten it. So how to tighten it? Make sure it is in the correct orientation and direction. And you can do like this, leave a little bit of gap, and then use the screwdriver to tighten it. And you can do a little bit tightening for now and then readjust it as it suits you. To make sure that the brake is close enough. In my case, the brake is now close enough. When I press the brake here, notice the brake is getting hit. So which is perfect, which is exactly what I want. So now this thing is set up. Now we are going to do the next thing, which is I'm going to turn it around, and then I'm going to put the balancing wheels first. Then I'm going to balance the wheel. It stands easily without support once you put the balancing wheel. So putting this and the seat would be much easier after that. So I'm going to put the balance wheel now. Okay, next I removed the screw and everything from here and only remaining this thing. Essentially these three things came out. So what you want to do is you want to place this here like this inside. So this thing will go inside the hole here. Okay. Next you want to place this here. Next you want to place this washer. And then you need to just place this and close it. And then obviously you need to use the wrench to tighten it. So notice I'm using the wrench to tighten it. Yep. Next I'm going to do this exact same thing on the other side as well. Exactly the same. Next, this you need to tighten this a little bit. So in my case, what is happening is, notice this is loose and this is tight, right? But you want to tighten it a little bit. We can loosen it a little bit later, but first tighten it in the first step. Next, put the seat inside. I'm putting it a little bit up, and then all you have to do is lock it in. And notice what that means is, notice how this is going down, which means it's not tight enough. So remove it and then tighten it further. Okay, now let's try again. Okay, and now when I tighten it, you can see it's a little bit more difficult. I'm setting it here so that it's straight and little bit straight. Yep. And now I'm going to tighten it. Right? So now you can notice when I'm pressing it's not going down. That's why I know it might be safe for my daughter to sit in. So now we have connected everything. Now we are going to connect the pedal. This is L here and it also an L here, which means that this is going to go here. So then all I have to do is put this thing in like this. Next you need to remove this, and if you notice this, you need to place it. This is to help so that you know when your kid suddenly breaks or falls in the front, they get safety here or in their head. So it's just like a nice cushion cover of a sort. And all you have to do is place it here like this, both the cushion and this cover thing. Okay, next we are going to connect this tray here. Okay, next in this tray you will notice these two things. So you need to essentially just separate it out. So it might not be immediately obvious, but I have just removed this thing here. And these are two going to get connected to the basket here. So this is going to get connected like this. And they are going to connect to the basket, something like this. So, yep. So to the handle here. You can essentially connect it to the handle here. So what that means is, what to do is you want to, if you notice this, there is a gap here in the tray, in the back of the tray. And what you want to do is you want to put this inside here like this. Right? And then what you want to do is you want to just connect it here, and you want to do the same thing on the other side as well. In the hole here, notice in the hole here, in the corner edge, You want to essentially just put it inside.
Okay.
And now this thing is ready. Now we are going to connect it here to the wire. So what I mean by that is, I will connect it done right now. It's in the first loop, but you don't need to. You can always change it. Right, and now the tray is connected.
Now, please, Papa.
Yep.
Wasn't it so pretty? Aww. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, and let us put this thing inside here. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. Okay. Yep, and now notice this thing is connected. I have to apply a little bit of force. Okay. Next, you want to connect this here like this. So now almost everything is ready. Connect it on both the sides. One side here. Okay, it is almost like a not connect, but let us plug it in. Yep, just push it inside. Now my daughter, she's 4.5 years old, so you can start driving. And you can see she is able to do it. Yes. She is trying her best. Yeah. Good, come on. Yeah, very good. Okay, bye. Okay, thank you. I hope that helps. This video helps. It's really nice. Very happy with it. Thank you.